have the passion for Venn diagrams as she does in my life.
She's a street prostitute, which has essentially been Trojan horsed into a political candidate. She has no place in politics. She's literally a prostitute, and she's a ghetto gagger, and those aren't even her kids. Her husband and her are in an open marriage. Listen, when she says she's Team Coconut, that means brown on the outside, white on the inside. Princess is a moron, and she supports a former slave owner and a racist prostitute.
Okay.
I just don't understand like this appeal on like now that there's a new presidential candidate, everybody just needs to absolutely adore her. Like I just don't get that. Like just say like you're.
It's called the honeymoon phase. It's high dopamine.
I just don't get this. Like people are actually animated about voting for a woman who calls herself a lawyer, who calls herself the VP, but can't string together a fucking coherent sentence like a fucking senile, dementia-ridden president.
She can read from a teleprompter.
Jesus Christ. No, she can't.
She can read from a teleprompter because she's running YouTube ads like you can't even imagine. YouTube is so far behind this woman in terms of support. She's raised $250 million by saying, $5, $10, whatever you can do to help us save democracy.
Fuck yeah, we did it. And you feel proud?
I am looking forward to the debate. This will be the
I
can't wait for her to wipe the floor with Trump.
See, this is the
I can't
She's never debated anyone. She's never debated anyone. She's had no challenge.
No, but
Pence is a nothing sandwich. Pence is a nothing sandwich. That's an actual fight. She hasn't had actual weighted opposition. That's an actual challenge for her. Pence is a nothing sandwich. Okay, even when she won in California, Loretta Sanchez was a joke. She didn't have to compete for that. She lost the debate to Pence really bad, and she also lost to that Democrat woman in the primary. That woman just like destroyed her. I forgot her name. Those were nothing. She hasn't faced any challenges.
I just want to.
So Princess, I'm gonna give it to. I like Tulsi Gabbard as my hero. She got her start by sleeping with a 60-year-old man. Then she failed her way into being a senator for 2 years. Then she got less than 1% of the polling, pulled out before she even got one vote, and still managed to make it the VP. Did nothing for 4 years, unless you're honest that she was the border czar. But at this point, she's claiming she did absolutely nothing for 4 years, and now she's a leading candidate with a $250 million war chest. I mean, that is talent, man.
It's not talent. It's called Reed Hastings. It's called billionaire after billionaire after billionaire, knowing that they have a Trojan horse woman who will do whatever her environment tells her to do. That's the facts. She's a Trojan horse Barack Hussein Obama polished pussy. That's all she is. She is the most dangerous threat to democracy we've ever had, and that's why she constantly says, we got to save democracy. She's the threat for fucking democracy. She's a terrorist. She's going to blow the fucking world up.
She's incompetent. She lost all her staff. She has no one that follows her. This is the Democrat Party machine putting in a Trojan horse. What do
you think is more dangerous? Incompetence or malice?
That's a trick question.
Really?
Yeah, because incompetence fails in every direction. Malice goes like straight on.
I don't know. Like that's the reason why they say don't attribute to evil what you can actually explain by incompetence or stupidity.
See, you're saying incompetence implies that the person isn't a good person. If you're a good person but you still are incompetent, there's no malice there. So if you're an evil person and incompetent and practicing malice, I mean, you're Kamala Harris.
No, because an incompetent person, if they're evil, they might not be able to actually run their plan. But a good person, a good-hearted person, if they're incompetent, they're still gonna do shit, you know? So I think incompetence goes, with dishonesty as well.
Well, malice is only intent or desire to do evil. It doesn't mean that you have to be successful in it. You just have to have the intention or desire.
But incompetence is more dangerous, dude. Because with
incompetence, you're
stupid and you...
If you're an incompetent driver...
but you have power and being stupid?
I know, but if you're an incompetent driver and everyone around you is trying to avoid you, that's much better than malice. If you intentionally try to ram someone, you're going to hit the person. So it depends on the robustness of the rest of the system.
I'm not sure, because malice usually has one target. But incompetence, you just can crush any car.
Kamala is going to be devastating to the economy. She's going to be devastating to the international community of peace. She's going to enhance the war in Ukraine because she's going to want to destroy Russia even more. You're talking about escalation of World War III underneath the illusion of a socially justice woke woman. She's extraordinarily dangerous.
But the thing is, I don't even think she understands the ramifications of like what her actions would be. That's just like the level of incompetence. I think that she just doesn't. Fuck, man. How have we gotten to this point? Like,
and she got the whole media defending her. Like she can
it's politics.
The planet and they'll call her brave.
You said politics is stupid, and the fact is, this is stupid politics 101. The dumber it is, the more likely we are to vote for this woman.
Yeah. What? I just want to know. No, my girlfriend called me. I just want to know, Melissa. Like, what do you actually support? That like you're in favor of?
My big things are bodily autonomy for women, including access to abortion and proper reproductive health care. That is.
I can't believe that you just had a baby and you're still.
Yeah, I think absolutely, like going through a pregnancy and also watching my sister who had a miscarriage and had to go into a different state to have the literal dead tissue removed from her body because her state did not allow it because she was past 12 weeks, and watching her cry about that and deal with that, yes. And then also watching
the baby was
an
not there.
ectopic
Why didn't they do that?
And also watching her have an ectopic pregnancy and then having to have a fallopian tube removed, but thankfully was able to get the care that she needed because that could have been way more harmful to her and her reproductive organs. So yes, when I said, because I actually had to have this conversation with my husband because he thought that I was like, yeah, everyone gets abortions. No, it's about proper health care for women. That while I was pregnant living in a red state, I was terrified that something would go wrong and that I wouldn't have the access that I need.
No, Melissa, I think that you're conflating here a different thing because when you have a miscarriage, nobody will deny you health care.
No, that is true. No, that is so true. My sister had a baby that she very much wanted in her uterus that had died, that did not have a heartbeat anymore.
They said leave the
and
baby
in the state that she lives in, she was not allowed to have a procedure to remove the dead baby from her uterus.
Which state is this?
North Carolina.
Yeah, we're gonna
after 12 weeks. Because it was after 12 weeks.
So
she was not allowed to get this procedure done. She had to cross state lines to get this procedure done.
Okay.
I'm not bullshitting you.
Okay,
like this literally just happened back like in January.
Okay, we're gonna look up North Carolina's abortion laws right now.
Go for it.
Okay.
It's until 12 weeks.
Okay. In the meantime,
and she was past 12 weeks.
That's for a live baby. In the meantime. Okay. And it wasn't an ectopic pregnancy.
I'm just informing you of what is happening.
Wow.
Right? So, you might interpret the law one way, but however,
gone for 12 weeks. You cannot allow an ectopic pregnancy to go for 12 weeks.
I looked it up, by the way.
It's totally legal in North Carolina.
No, the 12-week one was not an ectopic pregnancy. No, this was a very wanted, healthy pregnancy until 13 weeks where the baby's heartbeat stopped. And the baby was dead. And this is what I'm talking about when I sit here and talk about women's health care, the right to proper health care for women. And this is including
killing a baby is not a health care right for a woman.
Let's read North Carolina's abortion law right now.
Yes, go for it.
I've read it as well. 2023, abortion is legal in North Carolina during the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. However, there are some exceptions. Rape or incest, abortion is legal up to the 20th week of pregnancy. Fetal abnormality, abortion is legal up to the 24th week of pregnancy if the fetus has a life-limiting abnormality. I would say a dead fetus is kind of...
I'm just letting you know that where she was getting her care, they had to send her to
risk to the woman's life. Abortion is legal at any stage of pregnancy if a qualified physician determines the woman's life is at risk. So your story's not adding up, but let's just pretend
and that's fine. You can say my story's not adding up, but the fact of the matter is that there are people that have interpreted that law so that the place where she is getting health care said that she had to leave the state.
Okay, there is no one that
I'm just letting you know what happened to my sister.
There is no
I know
one.
that I've read the law. I've interpreted the law. I
You
think
also
it's
told me that
they
Trump
refused
changed your
to do
tax
this
code.
procedure.
You also told me that Trump changed your tax code when you filled out the W-4 incorrectly. Now,
no, he did do it. No, there was a tax thing that he had put into place 4 years ago.
5 years ago.
4 years ago.
Right. Yes.
As CPA, you should know that.
I know that he did it in 2018, and I also know that if you fill out your W-4 correctly, you don't owe tax at the end of the year. Because the government steals your money, takes it as a free interest-free loan, and then gives it back to you. It makes people feel excited they got a refund.
And then charge people fucking. They don't get taxed correctly. Yes.
Yeah, that is true.
But I think it's bullshit. But we're on the same page there. I understand.
Okay. So, but yeah, that's what there is.
You guys asked me what my opinions are and my beliefs, and I'm giving them to you.
Okay.
I'm telling you a personal story with my family member.
Can we tell your personal story?
You believe it or not, or whether you think it's bullshit or not, that's fine.
There is no state there is no politician anywhere that says that once the fetus loses the heartbeat and is no longer alive, it should not be removed. There is no state in this union that doesn't allow an abortion.
I'm just informing you of what my sister was informed at her place of where she was getting care, where she was receiving care.
Princess, we've heard you talk about your taxes, how that's fucked up. We've heard you complain.
Hey, don't yell.
Okay, Princess, you're missing details, but either way,
I'm not missing details. I'm letting you know that the way that this law was interpreted.
Let Meyer finish.
Just move on. What do you think Kamala Harris has the ability to do as president that'll change the North Carolina state law?
At this point in time, I'm unsure that Roe v. Wade will be reinstated.
I'm sure it will never be reinstated. It was bad law. We got past that chapter. Now, what can Kamala Harris do?
I'm unsure of what do they call them? Where they go in and put things. I know the word. I'm totally drawing a blank. Executive order. I don't think that that's possible. I think that would cause chaos if she did that.
Because that would be fascism,
for
right?
an executive order to come into place to protect abortion? Abso-fucking-lutely. To protect women's health care? Abso-fucking-lutely.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
Moving forward, not quite sure.
Someone because you want them to do something, you should have a plan for them to do it. I'll help you out. There's absolutely nothing the executive can do for abortion right now. Zero. Now, the legislator maybe, but what you should be doing is dealing with the state laws in your own state.
But I also understand
that
I also understand that our Supreme Court has some very right justices.
Very right?
I'm not going to say alt-right, extreme right. I'm just going to say
we have a Proud Boy in the Supreme Court?
That are quite right of our political spectrum.
We have a few justices that are pretty right, but some of them are very wrong.
And some of them are very left, so that's called balance, Princess.
Okay, so then our very conservative
and very left, there's very left.
A Republican being in place and putting yet another Republican justice on there.
So far that doesn't sound too bad to me.
To me, right? So that's another thing that if there comes a spot for a Supreme Court justice, I would really appreciate a Democratic or liberal judge to be placed on there to add more balance to my morals and beliefs.
Is there a law that you can legally, not that you don't like the outcome, is there a law in the Supreme Court that you can point to that you're going to say that was decided incorrectly?
That what was decided incorrectly?
I can.
Listen, it's Princess World. You do realize this is how Princess World operates, right? Are you aware that her husband has to deal with Princess World?
Oh my God.
So I want to know if there's a law that you can point to that you think was decided incorrectly. Not that you don't like the outcome. These alt-right conservative justices, by conservative justice I mean they actually apply the law, something you're not very used to. Which one do you think that they applied incorrectly?
Something I'm not very used to. Okay. I love that you guys are just I'm not going after any of you. I'm mostly just defending myself, right? Like, you're just sitting here throwing things out here like, oh my God, can you believe that she's such a hysterical woman that her husband has to deal with her? Oh my gosh, you know nothing about the law. You know nothing about taxes. You know nothing about politics. You know nothing about anything. You're just stupid. You're not intelligent. Like, you're just saying all of these things to
Who said that?
I never said any of those things. I said that with you. 10% of your brain you could understand this.
Yeah, no one said that. We were just asking you to substantiate your claim.
This is what Democrats do, and this is how they think they win.
This is what Republicans do. You sit here and, like, berate someone.
Use critical thinking.
Not about them.
Yes, this is what Republicans do. We ask you to
about
substantiate
them
your
as a
claim.
person. You're just sitting here saying, I'm stupid. I don't know anything about the law. Someone literally just said, can you, like, her husband has to deal with her. Someone literally said, her husband has to deal with her.
All we said was,
come on, you know us,
I know, I'm aware, but we're not talking about what are your opinions. No, we're going to sit here and say, what you're saying is bullshit.
We're not trying
you're not
to be
intelligent.
insulting or anything. No, hold on. This is part of the mocking, this is part of the banter. You know that nobody is really trying to insult you. So this is just chill conversation.
Right.
And the fact that
we're just going to and not have a true conversation, then I don't understand why we're having a conversation.
Because this is called Clown House. Do you think we have to submit to your rules of communication?
Oh my God.
Karens are fighting each other. Karens. Hey,
so, Princess, who called you stupid?
They were
Nobody called her
that
stupid.
questioned my intelligence multiple times.
Nobody.
We put critical thinking on your logic and reason, and we're trying to get you to substantiate some of the points you're making.
This is where you take away your emotions and you try to be intelligent and not emotional. It's called stoicism. It's called wisdom. It's called intelligence, understanding, and knowledge.
Should I just say that I'm a man?
Yeah.
Or do you want me to be a woman?
Are women capable of logic? Does that make you a man?
I'm just asking you. Like, I'm being my true self.
You're being your true self, and we're asking you to substantiate your claims. You're like, well, that's such a man's job. That is super misogynistic.
I'm just throwing it back out there. Like, if you, right, like, all these conservatives are like, no, a woman should be quiet and in the kitchen. Like, should I just go get in the kitchen?
Nobody's
Yeah,
saying
you should.
Barefoot in the kitchen.
Go make a sandwich, woman.
You prove that's wrong.
Princess, do you think it's okay that the abortion industry collectively makes $10 billion a year aborting children in this country, that female, liberal, leftist, insane doctors are cutting off the heads of children and uteruses day in, day out in this country? You agree with that?
Are they babies that would be raised by leftists? Because I might be behind that.
I have been raised by leftists. I support abortion.
I can tell.
Really? Your military dad was a lefty?
Oh my God, my military dad hates the police, hates Donald Trump, is not a Republican at all.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does he support trans in the military?
I don't know. We have not had that discussion.
Oh, you should definitely talk to him about the rights of men to dress up as women in the military and pretend that they're general dressed up as a woman in the Pentagon and have Dr. Levine dressing up as a woman. I mean, where do you stand on trans rights in the government and in the military, Princess?
So, as someone who's never put on a uniform, I feel like I do not have an informed
Why do you always start your sentences with as a woman who or as someone that has
I don't know, I've never noticed that I do that.
Abso-fucking-lutely. Abso-fucking-lutely.
As your identity, I can answer that.
See,
I do know that.
Confirm it.
I do know that people that I am in contact with that are in the military are supportive of women in the military. I don't necessarily think that most people are in support of trans people in the military, but I think that comes to logistics. I don't think that necessarily is a transphobic, like coming from a transphobic place. I think that they just logistically are like, please don't. We don't want to deal with it.
So it's not political to install colonels, generals, or surgeon generals.
Can I just say something, Trump? Why are you all Americans so weird?
Listen, I know who you are and I know how you speak. I'm going to be very polite and just go on mute and let you do your thing. Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. I think sometimes Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I just find you quite weird. I really do. Like, you're smarter than Britain.
Thanks for that share, Riri.
No, but can I finish?
That was a hot take. Thank you, Riri.
No, may I finish?
Okay, honestly, that was one of your more intelligent takes I've ever heard you say.
I know, but I don't even know the word of intelligent, which is the level of IQ. But
I don't know what the word intelligent is.
Can I just add something to it? Why is it? So if you get a picture as a female, I just want to educate the women. If you put your picture up, men will come to you because you.
I know, right?
I love your goofiness. But can I finish? Can I finish, please? Would you let me? Allow me to.
Did you start?
Just 30 seconds for the commercial break.
Okay, thank you. Commercial break. Okay. I love my commercial break. I love it. It's absolutely.
Maybe please start so you can eventually finish.
Oh, my darling, please.
And we're back.
No, 1 second.
Yeah.
No.
And we're back.
You haven't given my couple of meeting. Okay, I can put my picture up and behave myself. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, but 1 second. With all due respect, my point is, I'm trying to be intellectual. I don't know how to do that. But guys, I love to play chess, but my point.
If you wanna, you know what? I have an idea. If you wanna sound intelligent, why don't you mute? No, mute up and listen.
Can I be intellectual? Please let me. Okay. Guys, we're talking about people that talk about multiple things about intellectual.
We don't know what we're even talking about anymore.
Okay, can I speak? Let me
You've been speaking. Go.
Okay, thank you. If you go on mute, stop laughing at me.
Yeah, what's the point? The point is.
Let me finish. Let me speak. Okay, my point is, the more you talk about intellectual, the more you sound stupid. Because I do love people that play chess. When you play chess.
You're the only one talking about intellectual.
I don't know. You guys do that. I don't. I'm dumb. I'm really stupid. Don't you know? Why would I be in this room if I did really well?
Thank you very much, Riri. That was amazing.
I'm not finished, Daniel.
I know. It's a great sketch. I thought you're done.
No, Daniel, let me finish. Please allow me to finish. I don't put my picture up, so you have to be kind to me. Do I have to show my face in order for you to be kind to me? You're kidding me. Let me do my thing. Okay, so the point is that when people talk about these,
I hate to interrupt, Riri, but you're kind of weird.
All right, I know. And I hate being weird. I'm trying to be normal. How do you normal, Tom? Tom is not normal. He's from Germany, by the way.
This is you trying?
I am actually.
Okay.
What is wrong with that? I'm actually trying. I am. But anyway, how long do I have for my commercial break?
You've been on for 6 minutes and haven't said anything. Go.
Okay, fine, be nice. For God's sake. Oh my goodness. Okay, so one, ladies and gentlemen, be kind to each other. Fucking hell.
Anyway, and we're back. What were we talking about?
I go 1 second.
Riri, you are done. Your commercial break is over, honey.
No, I want my love. 1 second, please. Let me be safe a little bit. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, do not show your picture in order for you to get appreciated from others. Just always be yourself and be kind to others, and you're going to win. Thank you very much. And I'm very stupid. I haven't done well in society. Oh, look at it. She's so nice to me. Thank you. Have a lovely day. I love you all.
Amazing commercial break.
I feel smarter. I feel more intellectual.
I'm
well, only because it actually is true that you feel more intellectual.
Daniel.
No, can I ask a question? What do you think about Netanyahu?
No question.
No, I just want to ask a question. No, this is a serious question.
Questions at the end, Jason
Questions
said.
at the end, yeah.
Oh my God, you're a horrible guy. You're terrible human.
Right, I know.
You are.
There's like a complaint box. You see this red button at the top?
You guys are horrible. You bully.
We are horrible?
I will know, you're kind, and I respect that. But I was going to ask you about Netanyahu.
You're a kind
He's not
bully.
what they called in Congress, it's called Congress, right, in America, which is English called Parliament. He did a speech. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen?
I think this goes back to
I love the way he laughs at it.
This goes back to East's argument about malice versus incompetence, and how Riri's incompetence of intellect derailed our conversation.
Well, I'm dumb.
And how much more damaging it is than malice. Like she.
Well, I damage you. I'm sorry, you people are very intellectual. I'm sorry.
No, it's not that. It's just derailed the conversation. Like you did so much damage to our conversation. It's unrecoverable. And it was effective in that matter.
I know. Are you upset? Oh my God.
I'm not that I'm upset. I'm just saying it's to circle back to East's original point about what's more damaging, malice or incompetence. And in this case,
you used me as an example?
Yeah. And incompetence to derail an intellectual conversation. And we're seeing this in society where there's just incompetence everywhere, derailing intellectual thought, to where all the smart people are so confused and just giving up.
Can you educate me?
Yeah, well,
enlighten me.
Well, people using critical thinking and doing research and reflecting on like realities of society. You know,
your voice sounds lovely. Tell me more.
Thank you.
Oh, she's hitting on you.
Let's go. Oh.
I don't hear anybody in this house.
He's got a very nice beard.
He's American.
And she's smart to change the strategy, you know? She knows what she's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're on to you.
Anyway, let's go back to the abortion thing, because I'm still wondering, like, how is it? I mean, I cannot get it inside of my
guys,
head.
have a lovely day.
I'm sorry. See you, Riri.
Perfect.
And Melissa, I
might come back again and just troll.
All right.
We might.
I really do not understand. So, like, you just had a baby, Princess. Just like
I did.
4 months ago. And
3 months ago.
You still think that abortion is okay? Like, dude.
Yes.
Didn't it? How did it feel having the baby? How did it feel when they put your baby in your arms for the first time?
So, I think that it should always be a choice, and pregnancy.
Yeah, before you open your legs, it's a choice.
Isa, I will be completely honest. Pregnancy and birth are extremely humbling. Like, birth humbled the fuck out of me. Like, I really went in thinking, like, my body
you're giving me another reason why to forbid abortion.
So, to answer your question earlier, though, to answer the first question, how did it feel? I cried of joy when they put my baby on me, but I also had been very happy and wanted my baby so much and had a loving partner by my side during my pregnancy and during my labor, and I think it is absolutely a beautiful thing when it's wanted. Now, I think that pregnancy itself and childbirth are extremely harsh on a female body. Like, very harsh.
Nobody's forcing you to be pregnant. I mean, you can use condoms. You can close your legs.
Well, people are forcing you to maintain a pregnancy.
No, they're not.
To maintain a pregnancy.
Princess, you have the choice before you sleep with the guy.
Right. And so here's another thing. My doctor, because I had complications on my birth where I hemorrhaged and literally almost died, that my doctor recommended that I wait until 6 months to become pregnant again. Now, if I was to become pregnant very soon after giving birth and not being healed, that pregnancy then could lead to serious, harmful ramifications to my body.
Fine, then you take your measures before
Correct.
getting
I'm
pregnant.
aware. I'm just informing you that. But I don't want to be on a hormonal birth control again. That's something that my body, my choice, right? Like, my body, my choice.
Yeah,
I don't want to. Right. So, like, I'm just saying, a slip up could happen between me and my husband. We do not use condoms. I do not like to take hormonal birth control. So, Yes, we're playing roulette at the moment.
Okay, fine.
Until I'm 6 months pregnant.
Okay, so
your choices can have consequences.
Correct.
First of all,
I'm aware. I'm just informing you.
So then deal with the consequences. And if that is having a baby, you have a baby.
This is not even true. First of all, chances of you getting pregnant are extremely low, but they are there. Second of all, there are much more options than hormonal treatments. There's the phone, there's IUD, there are options. So
I am not getting an IUD, especially since I want to have a baby again within the next 2 years.
What is the issue with that?
My doctor also does not recommend getting an IUD if I want to have another baby soon.
Okay, that's
so odd, yes, as an educated adult woman,
I am fairly educated on birth control.
I'm just letting you know that yes, we understand our options. And
okay, but that's not even the point. The point here is there is no state that doesn't allow very early abortions. So even if there is a mess up and you decide that it's okay.
So here's my question to you, Meyer.
Oh my gosh.
But let him finish. Let him finish.
I want
clarification.
Right? So you said that there are no states that don't allow early abortions. When does a woman find out that she is pregnant? At what point?
Every woman is different, but it's typically it's typically
3
what
weeks,
we call
4 weeks.
It's typically 4 weeks, which is really
maximum 4 weeks. Maximum 4 weeks.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you understood that, and I'm not saying that
Princess, you don't have to be condescending.
I'm not being condescending. No, I have had conversations with men on this app that think that literally you could take a pregnancy test right after you have sex to see if you're pregnant or not. I'm just
okay. So
clarifying that we are on the same page.
Just so I can prove to you that I know a little bit about medicine. They don't count you as pregnant from the day you get pregnant. They count you as pregnant from the last menstrual cycle, which is really 2 weeks earlier.
Exactly.
So 4 weeks really.
Well, it also can change based on how you're measuring. Because I have a weird cycle. My cycle is not always 30 days.
Last menstrual cycle is not a good way to measure.
Princess,
right. So when you
every single thing you're talking about, Princess, are exceptions. It's like. You want us to make a rule based on a woman that is carrying every single exception that we're mentioning here.
Right. No, I'm just saying that not every woman is on a 28-day cycle, so she doesn't ovulate exactly on between days 14 and 16.
Yeah. So the due dates are incorrect but for many women, and that's why they take a sonogram, which is pretty early one, and it is much more accurate.
Absolutely.
And that's due date.
Yes.
I don't. Right. So what is your point with that when it comes?
So my point is, okay. So what are they classifying a 6-week pregnancy based on a sonogram? I'm asking for clarification.
So you're talking about 2 states that do that, and again, this is a state right issue. If I was a voter in that state, I would push for it to be on sonogram for what you said.
Yeah.
The last menstrual cycle is not a good metric. But these are details in a specific state. I don't live in Alabama. So that's not a state. But the point is, this whole thing started by you claiming you're going to vote for Kamala Harris because of these laws, but she has no say in how Alabama designs their laws.
Because it's in the state. Yeah.
Because it's a state law. This is why civics is important.
I understand that. I understand that it's important to vote locally, but I also am not. I'm not where I live because my husband is in the military and we're here on orders. This is not my state of record. So
that's not important. What's important
is important because I'm living in this state.
It's not important.
I'm living in a red state.
It's not important.
It is important because I cannot vote in the local election.
Do I have to mute you?
I am not.
Do I have to mute you? That's not important because what's important is to understand who can do what. So if you're voting for someone
I understand who can do what. I'm literally
just let him finish.
That in our country, our entire country, right? This is a thing that has been delegated down to the states, which I am very uncomfortable with, especially as a woman who is married to someone that is in the military that gets moved around every 3 to 4 years. That I will be moved again in less than a year to another state. Unsure of where I'm going. Unsure of their laws.
Can you let Meyer finish what he was saying?
I'm just informing him that I understand that there are senators and there is all of Congress that are, and there are state legislators, like, I understand that. Like, I understand that it is more than just the president. I understand that the president is mostly just a figurehead. I understand that. I think it is super, super important to vote in local elections. However, I cannot vote in local elections where I'm currently living because I am not considered a resident of this state. So I cannot vote in this state unless I change my residence to this state. But I, again, am going to move again in a year, less than a year. So yes, I understand for me at this point in my life and the way that my life is structured, federal trumps all. Because I am going to be moving to different states.
All right. Jordan, hi. Did you want to say anything on the abortion topic, Jordan?
Oh, I'm just waking up here.
Oh.
I had a long evening.
Oh. Did you have a date?
No, I did not.
Oh, because I was gonna say, be careful, she's not pregnant.
Oh yes, I was vasectomized early.
Oh wow.
I just have way too many kids out there now.
How many kids do you have?
7.
Oh, that's really cool. How many families?
How many what?
Family.
3.
No, you're like my dad.
I'm just kidding. I'm intact and I have no offspring. But I am tired.
Maya, are you still there? Oh, Prince is left. Just getting angry at Maya. Did he leave? Pacific Hotel script. Not interesting. Anyway, where's everyone? Simon, I know Simon is not here. James, are you there?
I'm here. I'm looking up that there's something happened in Paris Olympics opening ceremony. There was some type of bus attack.
Oh wow, really?
I'm looking into it now. I don't know too much. I just saw a quick headline for it, but I'm still kind of looking this up real quick.
Do you know?
Yeah, I think they made some fires and they're like
Paris Olympics.
80,000 people could not use the subway and the buses. They're investigating it. It's a few hours.
People are crazy.
Yeah, some type of arson attack. Hold on. Arson attack disrupts train in France on day of Olympic opening ceremony. And this is per New York Times.
I think these people are not going to have a very, it's going to be a very shaky Olympics.
Very tense.
Yeah, tense. Yeah. Very tense.
It's a peaceful Olympics, Issa. It's peaceful Olympics.
Mostly peaceful.
Mostly peaceful Olympics. Okay, so France's high-speed rail system was hit by several attacks of criminal vandalism Friday, disrupting the train in the country as thousands of people flocked to Paris for opening ceremonies. So France Prime Minister Gabriel Attal said social media the acts of sabotage were carried out in a prepared and coordinated manner across the rail network. The consequences of the rail network are massive. Our intelligence services and law enforcement are mobilizing to find and punish the perpetrators of these criminal acts. So they're sabotaging trains, it sounds like. 3 different sites were hit. Oh, okay, so it looks like involved cable clusters connected to the railway being doused with fuel and set on fire. So they're setting connections on the rail system on fire with fuel. And then they did it at 3 different locations, disrupting the train system for the opening ceremony of the Olympics. Fuck yeah.
Free Palestine. Stop the genocide. Let's douse the train tracks with gasoline.
That's not criminal. That was terrorism.
Yeah.
No, that was a DEI hire with the train network, and they were the ones who accidentally dumped the gasoline everywhere.
But you know, when they would show a photograph of the guys that did it, what they would say is
What do you mean?
that it's from the Mossad.
Yeah, of course.
What do you think? What do you think about this in terms of psychology or personality? Like, I view Trump derangement syndrome in the same way that I view Jewish derangement syndrome. So, what is it about the personality or the individual that? What's the common characteristics amongst a TDS infected brain? And it doesn't just have to be the rhetoric, like he's evil, the way he talks to women, he's a misogynist, he wants to end abortion. You know, those two things that come up from that previous speaker, is there more to it in TDS? Is it a personality or a character flaw individual? I think it's a lack of education and intelligence, but I'm wondering if other people see common characteristics or what causes, because I don't think it's just TDS. I think that is a component of an overall personality which mirrors other major personalities.
I think there is a groupthink behind it and a social acceptance of you will be shamed if you don't align with what they perceive as like the right ideologue to follow or ideology to follow. So that's something that's really unique to that is the groupthink. And I don't want my peers around me to shame me, so of course I will just keep leaning into this radical ideology. That's one point I see about it.
Well, it's like the vaccination propaganda. Get lockstep and walk off the cliff with us. Otherwise, you're not black or you're not authentic. You're not genuine. You're a racist. You are a domestic terror. I mean,
you don't care about other people because not getting vaccinated is violence.
Same thing. It's the same logic to vote for Kamala. It's like, get vaccinated and save your neighbors, save democracy, vote for Kamala, get vaccinated. That's the exact same fucking thing.
Correct. So it's all a group think, and even look at leftist behavior on this app. They don't talk to Trump supporters. They will throw Trump supporters out of their room and preserve their rooms of having discourse. It's just, nope, get the Trumper out of here, boom, throw him out. I got thrown out yesterday because I put something in a chat. I never get thrown out of Clubhouse rooms, and I got thrown out because I posted in the chat, Trump 2024 or whatever, and just immediately tossed out. So the groupthink is real. The mass psychosis is another thing. That's why the media is, I think, the big culprit in all of this. Is that there's a narrative, and a very specific narrative that they have to hold, and they can't have competition. If they have competition, it all falls apart. So that's why any other narrative is a threat to this whole psychosis happening. But it's also taken damage too. Right now, the narrative's all shot. Kamala's not. It's going up in flames right now, and that's where the Trump derangement syndrome is hitting critical mass because their brains can't process this. The intellectual honesty, like at some point, logic is going to kick in and they're going to snap. They're going to see the situation like, no, Kamala's actually a shit candidate. Like, why are you trying to tell me she's good? So, that's my take.
So it's groupthink, essentially. I mean,
that's one aspect of it, I think, is, the mass psychosis or groupthink. There's a psychological operation happening to all of the masses because we should be living in an age of information, but we live in an age of media. And that media has put us into an information prison of this is the only information you're allowed, and you're not allowed this information. So right? Even the Trump shooter, the assassination, like the attempt, like there's only certain things we need to know about the Trump shooter. Yeah, he's a registered Republican, but he has no social media digital footprint. There's no, right. And then, okay, well, we found one thing on I forget what was the, pundit or something like that. Okay, he does have one. Okay, you know what? Maybe there is another one here. Maybe we'll start. You see what I'm saying? Like the groupthink and the media controlling the narrative. That's what's causing all this problems.
In terms of the it's called the Simulacra by this philosopher named I can't remember his name. The point is the maxim is the medium is the message. So when you see Kamala get a call from Barack Hussein Obama and say, "Hi, Barack," and then Barack is endorsing her, basically they understand neurolinguistic programming to a very high degree. AOC as well. These people are essentially, and this is hypnotism. This is mass media communication. I have many books on mass communication hypnosis or mass communication theory. And there's all these definitions, and I can go in the glossary and pull out all these technical aspects of communication theory. And essentially, if you work in the communications industry, I hate to say it, but all communication is hypnosis. So they're experts at it. And Trump, this is why I think the assassination attempt, like if you were a conspiracy theorist and you think there was a ketchup packet, but then you have the head of the FBI saying he didn't even get shot, that it was glass from the teleprompter that pierced his ear. And this guy hates Trump. His name is Ray. The point is, it is low information voters that will choose Kamala. And there's so many of them. And you can just hear it in all these clubhouse rooms where it's not even 50-50. It's like 80-20. And I don't see how Trump can overcome an 80-20.
You dropped out. Oh, okay, good. Sorry. You dropped out for just a second.
Anyways, I'm complete. We're living in the age of disinformation, and like you said, it's the media age. It's not the knowledge age. It's the screen age.
Low information voter, like you said, low information voter. We're not being allowed to get information. Had these voters had information, like the Hunter Biden laptop, this would have affected Joe Biden's presidency. We don't have information. That's why they're low information voters. It's not entirely their fault. Like the human brain and conscious is completely overwhelmed and bombarded by all these tactics, and we don't know what the tribe is thinking. We don't know what our society is or social structure is thinking, because the media is in our pockets, the media is in our hands, and we're all staring at our cell phones all day, getting bad headlines. Just all we read is fucking headlines. So that's what the species is going through right now.
I went to get a coffee, and there was this black woman on the corner at a traffic light. Her child is on the cell phone, little black boy, and he's walking across the street, head into oncoming traffic at 35 miles, and she screams, "Get your ass back over here, motherfucker!" And I looked at her and I said, "Ma'am, maybe it's the cell phone." And she looked at me and said, "Don't you tell me nothing, white man." I was like, "Good God, woman."
And it's the lack of accountability too that leads it to is there's no accountability. We see people go into committees, we see all these Congresses have hearings, and I'm going to have an investigation and I'm going to grandstand. But there's no accountability. There needs to be people. We need to get back to there are actions, or there are consequences for your actions. Same thing with abortion. Like Issa brought it up earlier. When you do this is what happens. If you choose to sleep with men, you increase the probability of you getting pregnant. If you don't sleep with men as a woman, then you won't get pregnant. But they don't want that.
That's a bad argument, because we should be paying. We should have a welfare baby state in this country, for married couples, not single women that want to leech off the system like parasites and be, spider mothers. If a man and a woman I know we get the tax break, but the fact is you should get not even a tax credit, but you should just get an outright cash payment at the birth of a child. 10 grand check. This is for your kid. Take care of your kid for the first 6 months on this $10,000. That's how you spend money for the people. You have a baby. That's a big life event. You would expect the government in Russia does it. I don't know why the fuck we're not smart enough to do it. It's because we hate the family. We want to destroy the family in this country. We want the culture and the society to completely erode from normality. We want gay men raising children. We want lesbians raising children. And we want lesbian, abortion, psychotic Democrat doctors cutting off the heads of babies in uterus. We live in a sick, disgusting society which is rapidly decaying. And if Kamala wins, you can expect American culture to degrade even more rapidly.
Which leads me back to the point of I think this is foreign influence. I really think this is China that wants to be the world power, the one world federation, and they can't attack us via, from externally, like a war invasion, like an invasion. So they have to erode us from within, and they have to take out the males first. So they're attacking the males. There's an attack on masculinity like never before, on fathers. They can't. It's coming from all angles. Like I'm even thinking this too, and I want some feedback on this. But like, I think it takes, obviously women, I think, mature faster at a younger age than men. Like, I think they have a better rap on the world of like things, but men tend to take a little bit longer to mature. It doesn't happen until your mid to late 20s, if not your 30s, and then you're actually really in your prime. And by getting all of these social ideologies to have teenage boys start questioning their sexuality and start leaning towards more feminine traits because it's so difficult being a man that it's easier to be a female, that you are disrupting that natural progression of, by the time they hit their 20s, mid 20s to 30s, when they're actually like becoming a more mature, experienced male, that they've already committed so much to these ideologues and put it out on the internet that like, I am this person, I identify this, that there's no going back. It's almost like a form of gang initiation with like young people. You go out and do all these crimes when you're younger, so by the time you're an adult, you're like, what the fuck am I doing? You're already so invested that you can't even go on back. You can't undo that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, the individualization or individuation, or the personification, or the development of self through social media expression and content. People that create content versus people that consume content, it's like black and white, meaning that you could be a leftist liberal whack job, and you don't create content yourself about politics, but you live, breathe, eat AOC. I was in love with this Jewish girl. I wanted to start a family with her, and she absolutely loved AOC. She mimicked AOC, like her identity, the way she dressed, the way she spoke. Like, she became AOC, and like, I think AOC is hot. The point is, the creators versus the consumers, the sellers versus the buyers. That's the big chokehold or choking point with these, liberal whack jobs, where it's better to be a creator and a seller than it is a buyer and a consumer of this content. And I mean, that's how you kind of position yourself for power. But a lot of these people are not doing essentially what you're claiming, which is the self, development through the content curation and publishing. They're not publishers. They're just bottom feeders. They're parasites, and they don't know they're parasites.
Well, it's also like gangs too, where like they're putting in work. They make you put in work for the organization as activists in all these different ways to disrupt society. And the more you do this, the more you're just getting stuck in the quicksand of it, and you can't undo it. Where like you've chastised so many people around you, by the time you come to a realization that you might be the problem, you're actually the terrorist, you have to have a level of intellectual honesty to like, I'm actually in the wrong. I have to hold myself accountable. And
well,
that's hard.
They're delusional.
Like, an entire person by the time you spent your whole youth and younger 20s being an activist for this ideology. By the time your brain fully clicks in, you're so ashamed of yourself for treating everyone around you, possibly even your parents too, like your family. Like, if you reject your family because they tried to raise you, but you're so liberaled out of your fucking mind, and then you realize after, like, no, I'm an evil fucking person for how I treated people. That's a hard brain, like, logic to, like, accept that, like, I was in the wrong and I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's because they're not Jewish. They don't have Yom Kippur. They don't have Day of Atonement in their lives. They don't know how to make peace with their surroundings, with the people in their lives. They're delusional, and the fact is, they're homicidal ideationists. They can't even understand, especially in terms of the ceasefire genocide movement. They don't understand law or justice, and that's why they're abortionists. They have no problem with murdering a child. Do you see how delusional these people are? And they call it they call it women's rights and medical care. It's delusional thinking. Basically, we are in a word game or a word war, and we are essentially fighting against definitions or opinions of what these words mean. But this is a business, and when you have a collective association of 200,000 women in this country providing abortions to other women, you have essentially legalized murder. And this, anyways, I'm telling you, I guarantee you that nothing is new under the sun. Everything that is exactly the way it has always been. And, we can ruffle our own feathers, but the truth is, this is ancient Rome. We have chariots that we call cars now. We have guns, what we call cell phones. Nothing is new. The species has not evolved. The species has not progressed. And we've degraded. Now, I mean, transgenderism is nothing new. You could call Jesus Christ the first transgender if you want. You could call, in ancient Rome, they used to have male prostitutes who dressed up as women by the thousands. I mean, this is insanity, but it's not new. And so, what I'm trying to tell you, James, or other listeners, is that your emotional stability is all that really matters, because your well-being is directly, basically impacted by your emotional well-being. And these gaslighters, aka the left, they want your emotional disability. They want you to be disabled emotionally by do you see how the dopamine feedback game is looping and working through communication? We're doing it to ourselves, and like that's true for right and left. We are all our own worst enemies, and it's a giant fucking word hypnosis. It's the logos in action. It is the Tao or the word. So if you're aware of this trick or this concept, you'll know that every conversation you have from here on out is technically a hypnosis simulation. And when you play it with the left, they just dominate it with emotion. And that's not the truth. That's not facts. And so if you want to play the reverse game, you got to be really tough and sometimes nasty and mean. I mean, I'm a professional gaslighter. I get paid to come on this app to gaslight. I know how it's working. You can manipulate, you can lie and disinform. You can say anything. And no matter how ridiculous it is, people believe it, at least for a little while until they think about it. Your brain accepts every word that comes into it automatically as if it's the truth. You see what I'm saying? You don't start off from a position of devil's advocacy. You always accept whatever you hear as the truth. And now, if you realize that and you think about the mainstream media, you see how easily people are manipulated because everything they say is automatically accepted as truth by the human brain. Anyways, these are my thoughts and opinions.
I was going to say, I think too, with especially with conservatives, they tend to lean more towards objective type thinking. And I try to take into consideration what the left is saying. Like, maybe there's something I'm not seeing. Let me sit down and try to understand their perspective of this and dissect it. But that's not in return by the left. The left will immediately not try to understand where the right's coming from. They'll just say, you're evil, you're misogynistic, it's all emotions. So we're not playing the same game. You're not exercising the same type of thinking skills. And that's where I think the fault of the Republicans, they need to change their strategy, or the conservatives need to change their strategy on, you don't need to engage with these people. You're not going to come, right now, our current state is not going to happen through diplomacy. You're not going to find common ground through diplomacy. We have to build cohesion in our party and make sure we protect our ability to vote in our republic and our constitution, our laws. That's what we need to do. There's no negotiating with these people. Unfortunately, it's not. You're not playing the same game. You're gonna have to realize who your opposition is, and you can't reason or rationalize with these people. We have to come together as Republicans and just as a society. It's not even Republicans. I mean, I'm a walkaway Democrat, and the reason why I bring this is significant is because I'm realizing that you have to destroy this. This has to be destroyed. I felt the effects of this woke mind virus in my younger years, and then when I started getting life experience, I realized these people are so full of shit. They're just taking your money. They start fires, and then they sell you the extinguisher to put it out. Okay, and then it takes a while to see this ruse, but they're playing on your fucking emotions. And yeah, I think Trump is the best fighter against this woke mind virus. That's why I'm voting for Trump as a walkaway Democrat. So when I say Republicans need to come together, do not negotiate with these zombies. They're roasted. We have to come together and be cohesion. And I'll stop there. I don't even know if it made sense there, but.
you say walk away?
Yeah, walk away Democrat. So I'm a former Democrat who walked away from the Democratic Party.
Hold on, walk away with A-K, like W-A-L-K, or walk away?
No,
walk away.
walking.
Like I walked away from the left. I'm a former Democrat who walked away from the party.
Yeah, that's the name of a movement. They call themselves Walk Away Democrats.
So I heard it is walk away, which is absolutely fine.
Yeah, walk away.
Oh, you're walk away as well? Ah.
Well, this is the thing about walkaway Democrats. When you start talking to them, you actually realize you're still a Democrat. You never walked away from anything. You just don't like your fellow Democrats.
Yeah, I hate the party because it doesn't align. It's totally ridiculous. I think one of the big ones is like, I'm a white male and trying to be a part of this ideology. Like, what the fuck? You guys are the racists. You're the prejudiced. You're the ones that are hating on, and the sexist. Like, your rhetoric is fucking awful, and you're obviously trying to like erase me from society and destroy any relationships I have, or destroy any type.
Yeah,
of
but as a white man, see, that's the problem with anyone who goes into race consciousness, is that you can transcend race with spirituality, and you can transcend politics with spirituality. And when you say that you're a white man, that's not who you are. You're not a white man.
Look, and I agree with that, but in leftist world, categorically, I am, and that's why I had to leave the world, because it was so toxic on my mind. Like, my spirit was being like completely, it's all toxic. It was being destroyed, so I had to leave it, and my spirit became healthier because of it.
That's because nature abhors a vacuum, and there's no intelligence in a Democrat. So naturally, they're depressed because they have no wisdom in their soul. They're like a vacuum. They're empty inside, and that's why you hear them talking all the time and chirping like birds.
Good.
And another thing that
every day, you're giving us big nothing burgers. I mean, the stuff that you say is true, but you give us the same nothing.
I know, but the truth is nothing. That is the truth, because something comes from nothing. I know it sounds ridiculous, but this is Taoistic thinking. You think Simon's annoying? I mean, I'm annoying too, but like not like Simon.
You're more annoying than Simon.
Well, another reason why leftists are always depressed and sad is because they think their existence is contributing to the inevitable doom of Earth. Okay, every day you exist, you are global warming, and your consumption and your very existence is.
But that's exactly what's wrong with them. That's exactly what's wrong with them. They think that they're separate. They think that they're separate from the environment, and that is essentially what I'm saying. Is the philosophy of unity or duality versus non-duality. And this is what Judaism deals with. Tanya, if you read the book, I know you've never read it, but it's called Tanya. Every Jew should pick it up and understand it, because it's a philosophical treatise by the Alter Rebbe. The Alter Rebbe is the alteration, or the alternative teaching. The Jewish wisdom and mysticism is divine. I mean, it is the exact same thing as Chinese philosophy. It's black and white, yes and no, 0 and 1. It's Euclidean geometry. I mean, Meyer has probably read Tanya. And anyways, this is the problem with a Democrat, is they think that they are right and that they are morally superior, but yet they think they're separate from their environment. And this is the psychotic break, the neurotic neuroses of a liberal leftist Democrat psychopath.
And it's not a good quality of life. That's why they're always miserable and always sad. There's always impending doom. There's never a good.
They're atheists.
This utopia, the utopia that they're perceiving or being sold as like we're pursuing, is never going to happen, and they're going to waste this valuable existence that we call life. They're going to waste it being miserable their whole fucking existence.
Liberalism is atheism. Atheism is liberalism.
Well, understand, now I'm an atheist. I don't subscribe to any religion.
That's why you're a walk-away Democrat. You actually haven't walked away from the Democrats because you're still an atheist. It's a group of atheists. That's all it really is.
Well, okay. It's
just because I don't subscribe to any religion doesn't mean I don't respect it. Like I can
You're
see the
you're
good
using
and
the
bad
word
within-
religion. I'm using the word God, which is word or logos or Tao or you. I mean, you don't have to subscribe to religion, but you have to understand that there is a prima causa. There is a God, and atheists are depressed because they lack the wisdom of God.
Well, who has all the wisdom of God? I mean, that's kind of like even a religious person. Do you think you have all the wisdom of God? Like, no. So nobody has all the wisdom.
I hate to tell you this,
God, even in
James,
the
but it sounds to me like you don't open books. I got bookshelves. I got 1,000 books of wisdom. What do you have? You sound like a Democrat atheist.
Well, I'm definitely an atheist, but I'm not a Democrat. I tend to lean more towards science and observations of the natural occurring world, and that nature itself is the authority over science. So I am always in woe of nature itself and, you know, what it's telling me.
I know, but you
So
you do realize the ancients used to call philosophy nature and nature philosophy. It's the same thing. Nature is wisdom.
Yeah.
Philosophy is nature. It's an interplay, but there is a God or gods even.
But there's different ways to define that. What a religious person may call God, I call the universe. You see what I'm
Okay,
saying?
well
So
that's
there's
the
different-
point. It's
One people
universal.
call prayer. One people call prayer. Some other people call meditation.
I get it, but the fact is now you don't
So
sound like an atheist.
Right, but I don't find that these religious texts are an actual explanation for natural occurring phenomenon. There's other scientific method that needs to go into it versus just hearsay stories written by people at various timelines. Like,
So you trust the
it's
science?
actually
Are you vaccinated?
Yes, I-
You're vaccinated, aren't you?
100% no.
Ooh,
Absolutely,
so you
I am
didn't
not
trust the
vaccinated.
science on that one.
That wasn't science. That was not the scientific method.
I see. Okay.
That was not it. No, because there were doctors that were trying to speak out against it and have opposing views that were getting their licenses threatened. Okay, that's scientism. That's not science. Science allows there to be discourse of evidence. You're going to present the evidence, and then the scientific community will go through and critique that evidence. And that's a part of the scientific method, which didn't take place.
Okay,
It was
so
all Lord
James,
Fauci
there's a long-running room on this app known by a young retard named Donald. He calls his room "Convince Me God Exists," and I have gone into his room at least 20 times to convince this young retard that God exists. And do you know how I did it?
How'd you do it?
I did it scientifically. And do you know how to scientifically prove, since you're a scientist, that God exists, James?
Go ahead,
Have you ever even thought about this? No, you haven't.
Thought about what?
James, the whole thing about God is we have to have an agreement prior to the conversation. These are called preconditions. This means that the only way that I can prove to you scientifically that God exists is through these magic little things called words, okay? And if you've ever done math and you've ever set up equations and tried to figure things out mathematically, those are still symbols, aka what we call words. So if you're going to say that God doesn't exist and that the vaccine was scientism and that you are a walkaway Democrat atheist, James, you are so brainwashed, so low IQ voter, so low book. You're the words, the database, the external hard drive. You don't even have external hard drives, James. You have no intelligence in your brain. You run your mouth, and you're a Democrat, and you're still an atheist.
You're kind of emotional right now. Would you say that words and numbers both are just representations of things?
These are thoughts. These are thoughts, and these are sounds.
They're just so those representations can be interpreted, right?
The word. Listen, the symbol terminates in itself. Do you know how symbolism works?
Well, do you know how that numbers aren't an actual thing? They just represent a concept.
I know, they're called concepts. Okay. If I say water, are you going to get wet? If I say Trump, are you going to vote Trump?
I don't understand your point.
My point is, when I say water, you don't get wet. It's a concept. It's a word exchange, okay? That is the precondition to proving that God exists. If you can't agree to those strict terms,
It's just a concept.
I get that, James. I get that. But then the game becomes stupid because you're not willing to play by any rules. You're just running at the mouth. You don't know meditation. You don't know how to shut the fuck up. Do you even go to the gym? Do you vote Trump?
Well, I absolutely vote Trump, and I have a gym at home. I do calisthenics all the time. I love calisthenics. I have my foam roller.
Wow. Do you lift weights?
I have some weights here, yeah. I mean, I'm not like a bodybuilder.
Well, you're a real dum-dum. Just vote Trump, and don't forget, always vote Trump.
Yeah, I'm voting Trump. We're on alignment on that.
James, last thing I want to say is, did you know that all communication is hypnosis?
That was you. I can see that. I can see how it has. I don't know. It depends. I gotta look up the definition of hypnosis too. I want to see what
You guys are so boring.
Go ahead. He said, light up the room.
No. So you're making my ass twitch at this point.
What I'm trying to tell you is that in hindsight of this conversation, and say a couple days from now, if you heard a recording of it, it's technically an audiobook or just an audio file. That's all we're creating here, which is a record. And what I'm trying to tell you is that you're unaware of the fact that I believe.
The record of Biden?
No, as if we were in Motown creating records. That's what you're doing on this app every day when you come and create a room. I mean, you're creating a record. The point is, James, you're unaware of the hidden game that's happening, which is communication hypnosis. I have even by talking to me, I have proven my theory, and I'm a scientist, and you're a moron.
Wait, but one of my arguments was that communication in the media is causing mass psychosis. Is that not hypnosis? I made that claim earlier this day, early in this conversation. I said I talked about the media inputting mass psychosis over the people.
James, I'm really being facetious here because I'm a gaslighter. I was sent to gaslight you. Somebody paid me to gaslight you. And the longer you listen to me, the longer you'll be hypnotized by Donald Trump. Thank you very little. We'll call you. Don't call us. Vote Trump. Go to the gym.
Edmund, do you do like tour guides?
Wait, is this Edmund? Who's Edmund?
What do you mean? This is Edmund.
Oh my God, Trump is Edmund? Oh my God, his voice sounds different because he's not doing that stupid.
No.
God damn it.
Okay.
Oh my God.
I was like about to ask, like, don't you know like what's going on here? And
no, I don't recognize his voice right now. He's not using his normal Edmund voice, and I am being recorded. I'm probably being live streamed to fucking Instagram right now. I just realized who the fuck it is. Edmund, you fucking got me. God damn it. No, I totally.
You didn't know it was Edmund?
No, he's not using his normal Edmund voice. He got me there for like 10 fucking minutes.
Voice.
God, no, it's not his normal voice. He fucking changed it. He's on to do tactics now. And he fucking got me.
No, listen, they tried to assassinate me. Roger Mayhem, Joe Armenia, Paul, all the other faggots on this app, they tried to kill me. They tried to assassinate me.
You made a fake Roger app. You made a fake Roger profile.
No, he didn't make one. He made like
There's no such thing as a fake Roger Mayhem. That's a fake fictitious name, and the fact that they're forcing, you understand the problem here on this app. I understand it very clearly now. You can't. I'm surprised even Trump is allowed to speak here. They're cultivating and curating this app for their own evil intentions. Roger Mayhem is a fictitious character. His name is Steve Humperdinck, and he lives in fucking San Francisco. You see my point? There is no Roger Mayhem. And the fact that they can delete a fictitious character named Roger Mayhem because they think that I'm fucking with the app and fucking with people psychologically, you're right. If there were 15 Roger Mayhems on this app, it would throw the whole app upside down because now you don't have essentially the CEO or the manager of all the morons. Anyways,
just
Trump
like
is complete.
A lot of Trumps, right?
That would be great if there were 20 Trumps on this app.
No, but there are like 20 Trumps on Twitter and 20 Trumps everywhere, right? The real Donald Trump, the real Donald Trump, and they're not getting blocked.
Well, if I would have created 5 Trump accounts instead of switching over, to Roger Mayhem, they wouldn't have deleted me, and I find that kind of curious.
Did they delete you?
Yeah, they deleted 4 of my accounts because they were under my name, John Kitover. I changed it to Roger Mayhem, a fictitious character. And they deleted me. Like, that goes to tell me that it's political. They assassinated me.
Yeah, I gotta say that, well, it is an internet impersonation, but you're right. Roger Mayhem doesn't exist.
So I would be curious or careful. I believe that all communication is hypnosis, and they know that. And they know that if there's 4 Roger Mayhems talking out there, you can't really tell who the real Roger Mayhem is. That's the whole point of the mayhem. That was the whole point, is to try to cause chaos. They shut it down because it's too manipulative, too maniacal, and too genius. They compliment me with their assassination attempt.
So you put the mayhem in Roger Mayhem. Is that what you're
Exactly. Anyways, it's very upsetting to me still. I don't want to think about my deceased Roger Mayhem. I died long ago as Roger. I am now Trump. I rise like a glorious phoenix. You see, I can put a smile on Issa's face, and whoever Issa ends up getting engaged to, if you can't meet somebody as funny as me, good luck.
My whole day is out of whack.
I agree. Like, I like your personality. I'm just a little bit scared about how crazy you are, but
I'm a product of my environment.
I would be happy if I found someone with your sense of humor and your intelligence, to be honest.
Listen, my father gave me a great compliment the other day. I merged the call with my lawyer, and my dad and the lawyer's like, "Oh, this is Mr. Kitover, huh?" He goes, "Yep, I raised this little monster." I was like, my father called me a monster. I was like, I'm doing pretty good.
Yeah. I mean, this dude even trolled the judge. You're near that much.
Yeah, but this is about the thing about superpositioning or having no position. This is the philosophy of the fool, which is represented even Kabbalistically. Anyways, the whole point is playing the fool or the Joker, which is another movie coming out. They're releasing Joker 2, and surprisingly enough, he ends up getting a wife. So Hollywood knows, and I've heard a rabbi lecture on this, that every Hollywood movie that is of great financial success always involves two symbols, a man and a woman united, because Kabbalistically, or in the Zohar, it says that only where Hashem or God is only found where a man and a woman are united, and that's essentially the nuclear symbol of, the nuclear family. So that's the superpower. That's God represented alchemically or symbolically, the man and the woman united. And just think about it when you have sex, and in a certain position, you look like the Star of David. I've seen it represented in the Kundalini book, or the what's that Indian book that everybody what's that book called? The Sex Positions book. It's a yoga book. It's sex yoga.
The
Kama Sutra.
Sorry, get it up. Okay.
So most of these religious cults that sprung up in the 60s, they were based off of sex magic or yoga sex. And they believe that during sex, leading up into an orgasm, that's like the best way to try to communicate with God or the universe, is like right before an orgasm or during an orgasm. So there's this Hebrew word, it's called Ein Sof, which is the limitless light. And just it's a visualization tactic or technique when you're having sex, where it's like an ego death. So you can use your brain like a computer when you're having sex. And I know this sounds ridiculous, but this is what these books talk about, which is essentially sex magic. And this is what all these cults are into. And that's what I believe Kamala Harris is into. And that's what the cult is in America. It's a sex cult. And this is what the movie Eyes Wide Shut and Kubrick is trying to inform the population about, that amongst these very wealthy people, particularly Bill Gates, Melinda French Gates, etc., they are involved in a secret sex cult. And whether they're participants anymore or not, who knows? And it may have even been dissolved. But I think that's the basis for most occultism or cultish activities, which is sex. And you can see how with pedophilia and these, the situation on Epstein Island and blackmail and all these things about filming men or women with underage children, and how you can use that legally as leverage through a honeypot blackmail scheme. That's what the CIA's bread and butter is. That's what the KGB's bread and butter is essentially compromising you legally through sexual activity. And I think it has, anyways.
Jeffrey Epstein.
I've said enough.
Epstein.
Donald Trump is complete. I hope I was succinct.
But that's Epstein all day, right? That's the blackmail. That's all Epstein Island, and go there, get the celebrities there. Now you control them because you can blackmail them, and then they go out and are the face of your political crime.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, that's why I say Kamala Harris rose from the streets as a prostitute to sucking the cock of the mayor of San Francisco. She got deeper into the cult, started fucking Montel Williams, having orgies, and then she went all the way to D.C. and fucked her way all the way up to she got into an open marriage with a Jewish guy who wanted to fuck her, and it's not her kids. She has no kids. She's a coconut. She is the most Trojan horse, deceptive, manipulative candidate the country's ever had to face, and I think she's going to win. She's best friends with Alex Soros. Dominion Voting Systems. How do you have the future president taking photos with the owner of Dominion Voting Systems and saying there's no collusion for election fraud? It's a clown world. It's a banana republic. And James, this is what I'm trying to tell you: is you might emotionally damage yourself to no avail, to no benefit. All of this is one giant simulation trying to manipulate you emotionally, and it's a waste of your time unless you actually get involved, or create content to try to financially benefit from this. And this is what I constantly tell people is like, if you keep coming to this app and I have to create your records and you're not even creating your own records, you're not in the publishing business, baby. Be a publisher. Don't be a consumer. Don't be a parasite. Push the drugs. Be a drug pusher. Don't get high on your own supply. Trump is complete. I hope I was succinct. Essentially, it's a dopamine feedback loop system that this app creates, and it's basically management layered. All you green beaners out there think that you have like this position with a green bean. It goes back to duality versus non-duality. When I speak and you listen, you are letting me speak for your brain because you're giving me the grace to put my information inside of your brain. This is like, I don't know, if you study enough about communication, you will realize that every word you say is very important, because your time is so limited. And so it's really just, if you start recording yourself in 10-second intervals, 60-second intervals, 3-minute intervals, 5-minute intervals, 10-minute intervals, you kind of get a better sensation or feeling for time passing, and you see how you're using your life and whether it's productive or not.
You're very quiet, Daniel.
He's fading.
You're fading like Back to the Future. I can't hear you, Daniel.
No, I can't.
I'm thinking how productive I am as you right here. Ranting about cardinal ones. Is it gonna come to an end?
Yeah, yell a little bit, honey.
Crash.
Yell a little bit.
See, Daniel, no one can hear you and you're still talking. This shows your lack of awareness, or you've been drinking already. Who knows?
Honey, you need to return those earphones. They're crap. They're horrible. I'm sorry.
You at the Olympics?
No, I might go, but I'm not sure yet. I don't think so. Honestly, I'm trying to avoid it. I am a little bit scared of Paris right now. A friend of mine is going tomorrow. She's got a couple of meetings this weekend. Then she's going back, and then she's gonna go in 2 weeks, and I might go with her to see some people there. But I don't know. I'm scared about Paris. But to be honest, I'm not sure I want to go. Why? Do you want me to report from there?
No,
Whoa.
just curiosity.
Wow.
No, like, deeper reason.
Awesome.
No.
I saw that the train, I forgot what they call it there, was attacked.
Yeah, I know. That was what James was telling me. I would go for work. I wouldn't go for fun.
If they're attacking the trains, though, you're going to
definitely.
get stuck there. Because the trains, those 3 locations back up traffic, and then traffic gets backed up, and then everything's fucked up. So you wouldn't even be able to get out of there, even if it was work purposes.
See you tomorrow. 8 p.m.
Well, Paris transport is already not very reliable. They're always in strikes, and there is always like dodgy things happening. I'm not really a fan of Paris, and I cannot imagine how crazy it's going to be that city now with all these people from around the world there. Usually it's already crazy just with the French. I cannot imagine right now. And also these people making threats, to the Israeli delegation and whatever, all these Muslims trying to have demonstrations, and I don't know, I think there might be something, I don't even want to imagine what they would want to do. They should have extra for the Israeli delegation.
Imagination.
I know, but and that's what I was saying the other day in the chat. I don't know if you saw my message, but I was reading about the Olympics, and I didn't know that in 1972 in München, they killed 11 athletes from the Israel delegation. I think that's crazy, dude. How could that happen? 11 athletes. It was not just like 11 viewers or whatever, random people, that were carrying the flag or whatever altercate there was. No, they targeted 11 athletes. How can that be?
Listen, if you think the Paris situation, the Olympics is bananas or crazy, that ain't nothing. In Chicago, they have the Democratic National Committee coming here in August, and there is so much organized.
Not really in Chicago. It's in a stadium.
What do you mean the National Committee?
No, Meyer. I mean, I live here. I know the topography. I know the landscape. Like, it is definitely.
But what do you mean the committee?
No,
the
that's not
National
what I mean.
Committee?
I know it's physically in Chicago.
It's the National Convention.
The National Convention, where they will possibly nominate somebody, or maybe they're going to do it before the convention. That's what we'll talk about this morning.
What I'm trying.
Convention is in Chicago.
What I'm trying to say is.
The Democrats.
What I'm trying to say is Chicago is in the heart of America, meaning that you will have radicals coming to this city because this is a radical
Well,
city.
the heart is really ill.
Yes, but that is their convention, so they will be happy about it. They will be trying to be all supportive and crazy happy.
Look at the last Brooklyn convention. The Democrats are never happy. There will be demonstrations. But the thing is, a lot has changed since the 60s. So, what I mean by it's not in Chicago, I know it's physically in the city of Chicago. What I'm saying is that the Olympics, I don't know Paris well, but the Olympics are being held outdoors. The events are there. It's guarded, but it's much harder to guard. The convention is going to be in a stadium, which happens to be in Chicago, and they're not going to let them anywhere near it. They're not going to allow anyone to hold their sign.
No, I know. I've already seen the security perimeter map, like where they plan on, because it's a 360-degree perimeter security. Like, no one will be allowed in or out of this like huge security bubble. I've seen it, and it's on the news all day long. They're talking because the whole city is shutting down. Like, they have to cut off blocks. Like, traffic is limited. It's not a big deal. The point is that there's already a lot of radicalism in the city in terms of the ceasefire movement. And if there is not like a shooting or a major event during the DNC, because they're going to want attention for Palestine. I mean,
but it will not be at the convention.
No, it'll be proximity.
Might be around the convention.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying, yes, of course not. That's why I said there's a security bubble. It's going to be proximity based. Or it'll be at the park, because historically, so there's this area downtown. It's called it's called Grant Park, and so there are these famous photos of the 1968 Democratic National Committee, incidents where so they get on this giant. There's this incredible statue downtown, and it's this giant horse, and so they're gonna go, and it's a hill. So it's kind of like a position to take militarily, and they'll take that hill. And so if the Chicago police doesn't pre-deploy to these hill positions, which is essentially what it's like when you read Caesar, the commanding army general takes this position on this ridge line and these mountaintops, and they take it and they hold, like, it's going to be like a fight. And this is, I've seen it already happen. I literally couldn't get to work one day, and I have some of my best YouTube videos is me calling these Palestinian terrorists and they ended up, some of these were young Jewish men, and I interviewed them, like, why are you doing this? And then I said, good Shabbos, and they're like, good Shabbos. It's like a fucking woke virus of insanity, and I think they're going to go crazy because they have no access to the power, and so and they're so crazy that I'm just telling you, like, August is going to be so bananas. and the leftists are just they're like waiting to explode. They're really anarchists, and they're communists, socialists, Marxist, terrorists, and I'm telling you, they're really real. They're so crazy.
There are a lot of angry people.
Well, they're so crazy because they're so mixed up.
They're very, very angry people.
They're so angry, and they're trans, and they're gay, and they got purple hair. They actually look like clowns. It's the funniest thing. I saw this one like obese guy who presents as a woman, and if I actually hold up a photo of Bozo the Clown to a trans man, like they actually look like fucking clowns. It's unbelievable.
But do you see the energy between the two? And honestly, I'm not a fan of any of the two. I mean, the conservative movement in the U.S. it's not perfect either. You know, I think that they're both shit just with different color. Now, of course, I lean more towards the right or the conservatives just because I can't deal with the whole progressive ideas, you know. But if you see the difference in their mindset, like the left is always angry, always complaining, always yelling, always crying, always feeling like a victim, always I don't know, like it's a very negative energy. Well, you hear the Republican side, and when I hear them all yelling USA, USA, you know, it's just a different vibe. Like these are people that are feeling very proud of their country, and that really want something to happen. And I don't care if all their ideas are perfect, but at least they just want to see the USA strive. The other ones, they want to redo the US because they do not feel comfortable with the ideas of the U.S. They don't feel comfortable with freedom. They don't feel comfortable with guns. They don't feel comfortable with anything. So they want to change everything. It's just crazy.
But the whole thing is, though, the Democrat Party, it's all superficial, meaning that Kamala will do whatever the environment tells her to do. So the military-industrial complex, the national security industrial complex, she's the best ally for business you could ever possibly imagine, and that's a fact.
Kamala?
Oh yeah, she will do things.
How? Because she's dumb?
No, she's pro big business. Whatever the big business titans tell her to do, she will do it in a heartbeat. That's.
Oh, but you're talking about big tech. You're talking about
yeah, big tech mostly.
That are going to benefit from hard regulation and protectionism.
Yeah.
But all the other businesses, no, they are going to
oil's
punished,
fucked.
you know, with taxes and stuff.
No, I'm saying that certain industries will benefit and certain industries will be imploded, like big oil, coal, etc. I'm just saying that Kamala is just as mercurial as Trump, if not even more, and that's why she's even more dangerous and radical. She's so radical, liberal, and insane. I heard her giving a speech to like this is like Islamic, you know, charity group or something. Anyways, I'm just telling you, she's she doesn't scare me because I know she'll do what she's told to do, and so from that angle, I know that personally I could benefit. I mean, I know that I could probably get a job at some company because she. Anyways, I'm just saying. Whoever wins.
You get a job? How? As a white man? Good luck.
What I'm saying is she's actually great for the economy because she's going to inflationary spend so much money, even more than Trump. And so it will be an economic boom under her because they will pass $1 trillion act after $1 trillion act after $1 trillion act. There's no conservatism or fiscal responsibility with these people.
If Kamala Harris wins the presidency, I am telling you that we are going to all go to World War III. I mean, there's no way that woman is going to de-escalate any of the conflicts. None of them.
Well, see, this is where I could rise to power in a military capacity, and I could take on regiments in the same way the Civil War, when they would make a colonel out of a 23-year-old and say, "These are your 5,000 men."
I am talking about the whole world. This woman is not going to help de-escalate Ukraine and Russia. Completely the opposite.
She wants to take out Moscow. She could be our Napoleon. She could go to Moscow and free the Russians from the KGB. You never know. I'm saying she could do crazy things. Like she could she could detonate a false flag before she even gets into office. I'm saying that the deep state is behind her.
course. And we all know that, but I mean, she's placed there. Nobody's going to.
It's not like she was just placed. She was chosen for this moment as VP. They saw and foresaw this exact moment. They knew she was the Trojan horse candidate, and everybody knew it back then.
All her career, yeah. Well,
not her whole career.
Her career.
No, just her time in the White House. Anyways, this whole thing is a simulation. I am convinced of that fact.
I don't know, dude, but it's really scary. This morning I was also reading about the investment, the annual investment, at least for 2024, that the U.S. did for NATO. They are putting in $967 billion, which is 10 times more than the higher contributor here in Europe, which is Germany, and they only put 97 billion. And then the total spend of NATO is 1,500 billion. You know, so between Germany and the US is already 1,100. So between all the other countries, it's just 400 billion. And I don't know. That doesn't sound like de-escalating anything, you know.
It's not. But that's $1 trillion a year this country is spending. It's called the NDAA, National Defense Authorization Act. It's part of the Patriot Act. It's a giant tax on the people, but you got to understand the Federal Reserve pays for all of this.
Somebody muted him?
I'm just saying that the Federal Reserve pays for all of this, and that's the real conspiracy. It's the Federal Reserve. It's an inauthentic, inorganic organization that should never have been chartered in this country because it is a monopolistic banking empire. And if I wanted to, I could get a job at the Federal Reserve. I'm not opposed to working for it because essentially what that means is that America is morally right no matter what because they can make up money as they go along. And
yeah, but you keep talking about you. I don't care about you. I'm talking about the world. What Kamala
I know, and you think I'm talking about me, but you know what benefits me benefits the world. What benefits the world benefits me.
No, you don't benefit the world.
Well, see, this is why you don't have an American first perspective, because A, you're not an American like I am, and B, if you studied the founding fathers of this country, you would know the religious implications of their actions, because this country was founded on a religious war, and many people don't understand that. But the Church of England, or the Anglicans, did not want the Protestants, and they did not want the Roman Catholics. The Church of England is the King's Church. The King is the Pope of the English Church. And we fought against these bastards who cooked us in ovens and burned us in pots, just like the Jews in the concentration camps. When you commit violence, you break a sacred law of God. And that's all that matters. Everything else is politics and hypnosis. I am Donald Trump. I am complete.
But what are you saying? Just get to the point. What are you saying?
My saying is you don't understand that this is a religious war on top of a political war, on top of an economic war.
Fine. Yeah, I can get behind that. Yeah, spiritual war is an information
Yeah, it's good
war.
versus evil.
With you. Yeah.
So when you say that, oh, you keep talking about yourself, bro, you're just talking me, like how you're going to benefit, bro. I'm like, no, bro, like I want to benefit so I can help other people benefit. What is your problem with me trying to benefit from a little bit of something? Can I eat a little bit of cheddar cheese?
There's no problem with you trying to benefit. I'm just talking about a global issue right now and what it could represent in terms of like a world war. You're saying, oh, but I could get a job at the...
Okay, I'm being facetious. But let me ask you this, Issa. Do you consider yourself a scientist or a religionist or a spiritualist? Because I know a lot of Latinas that like to claim they are scientists, but when it comes to the scientific method, they don't even...
They're scientists. What do you mean?
So I took out this really hot, like...
Are you high?
Yeah, I smoked weed and had coffee. What's the big deal? My point is, I know this really hot Latina chick. She's so hot. She's like 46. She's in great shape, and she works for a big biological or a big pharma company. And we're texting back and forth. She's a very friendly woman. I took her to the beach. We had a great time. You know, no kiss, no nothing. Very nice woman, very professional, very beautiful. And, you know, she screamed at me, "I am a scientist." And I like, you know, I almost kind of wanted to chuckle at her.
Is she a scientist? Because if she works in pharma?
She has her doctorate or whatever in whatever it is.
Then she's a scientist then.
I know, but the term scientist is a made-up term. It's not. If I say scientist, like, does that make you a doctor of what? Of sciences?
Well, if she's got a PhD, that makes her a doctor. Yeah.
But what I'm trying.
Someone who practices the scientific method. If you exercise the scientific method, you're acting as a scientist.
Are
you a scientist? Are you a scientist?
Me? Am I a scientist? Absolutely.
That's like saying you're a magician, though. That's what I'm trying to point out, is that it's a title, but all titles are superfluous in the challenge of superior wisdom or knowledge. You can call yourself, you know, Dr. Scientist, but it doesn't make a difference because...
No, it doesn't make you a subject matter expert. It just means you're practicing a...
Hello?
Yeah. Hi, Jazzy. How are you? Do you think Jazzy is a scientist?
Jazzy's absolutely a scientist. I've heard her. Oh my
but
God.
See, this is the thing about scientists.
Jazzy thinks that Ireland is not in Europe.
Listen, throwing shit against a wall, to see if it stick doesn't make anybody a scientist, and that's what people are doing when they claim they're fucking scientists. I'm just saying, like, I laugh at a hot chick who screams at me and says, "I'm a scientist." And I'm just like, prove it. It's like somebody saying God exists. It's like, okay, prove it. Okay, prove to me you're a scientist. What have you scientifically revealed to yourself and to mankind that makes you a fucking scientist?
Can you prove any of the bullshit that you talk to us every day?
Listen to the record, and you tell me whether the record, what I said, was more truthful compared to what other people said.
No, I'm not talking about more truthful. I'm talking about, can you prove it? Because that's what you're talking about.
That's why I said there has to be preconditions, which we agree that this is a semantic word game. And if we can't agree that it's a word game, and then you want to change the rules and flip it on me, this is why negotiations have to have preset you know, what the whole thing in Israel is, we won't have a meeting unless we have preconditions met. Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, you're playing a game with me. I'm playing a game with you, and if we can't agree to disagree or that we're playing a game, then this whole thing is fucking really stupid.
It is stupid.
You know, listen, I went out last night. I had such a great time, and when I go out of Clown House into
the raising of demons?
No, I know these two Jewish guys that own a beverage company. They invited me to their rooftop party at this incredible venue, and they totally redid the area. It's in Wrigleyville by the Chicago Cubs. I know you're in sports marketing and advertising, but
I love the Chicago Cubs.
Oh, they are the best. It's called Marquee Network, and they're billionaires. They own TD Bank, the biggest Canadian bank in the world. They're worth like $150 billion. They spent $2 billion for buying the Cubs. They spent another, like, I think it was $6 billion remodeling the whole area. They bought up all the real estate. Anyways, I used to work for a guy, and him and I, they made millions. Anyways, the point is, they bought all the buildings, and now they're deconverting them into luxury condos. It's like a huge economic boom down there. It's luxury everything. It's super expensive.
Are they going to be able to sell them? Are they
Without a doubt. This is one of the hottest areas of Chicago and in the world.
Yeah, but I hear that people are not able to afford anything in the U.S. They can't buy.
You gotta work for a major corporation to be able to afford any of these places. I guess you gotta be a scientist or something. Can't have any faith in God. Gotta be an atheist scientist. Can't have any faith in God that he's gonna give you a little manna from heaven, right? That's not scientific. Trump is complete. I hope I was succinct. This is a question of faith versus what you call the scientific method. The scientific method is not A plus B equals C or A squared plus B squared equals C squared. The scientific method, Listen, I know you're programmed on your scientific methodology and how they told you to do it in high school and in college. But until you become a doctor or a mad scientist, you're not a fucking scientist. You're a monkey that throws shit up against a wall and calls that fucking the scientific method.
Doctors are not scientists.
You just said that if you have a PhD, you're a doctor and a scientist.
No, I said no. It depends on what your PhD is on.
Obviously.
If you have a PhD, that makes you a doctor. But doctors are not scientists. I mean, MDs are not scientists.
But Issa, if you're a doctor, you should be considered a fucking scientist. What?
No, well, that doesn't make you a scientist.
Are you shitting me? Oh my God. Do you have any idea how people are educated to become a doctor? The whole thing is based around the scientific method.
Make them a scientist. They understand about biology and whatever it is that you want, but that doesn't make
them it's a question.
Researchers and scientists.
No, Issa, you're not seeing my point. My point is, it's a question of God, meaning that if you are
I came here. Listen, I haven't been in Clubhouse for 2 or 3 days. I don't remember. And I came today here to see if I could chill, but you're driving me crazy right now.
That's because you're a scientist, atheist, Democrat. That's a you problem.
Me? God, Edmund.
You think I'm driving you crazy? You are your own worst enemy. I'm here to try to resolve your conflict and give you the equilibrium and what you're looking for. It's not me, sweetheart. It's you. Sorry to tell you that again. If I say you...
I'm not looking for you. Definitely not looking for you.
Well, that's why I don't have this incredible management green bean in your rooms, because I'm not a manager. I'm just a worker to tell my mother hive queen lord the information she's looking for. Let me go back into the field and get more information gathering for your brain hive collective, my manager. Thank you, queen lord goddess. Please, just a 1% increase in my salary. Thank you very little.
Okay, we'll call you. Don't call her.
What did you say about the scientific method? I didn't, I have poor service and it dropped that on me when I was there.
I mean, you can say I'm annoying now, but why did you just talk to me for an hour and 45 minutes?
Listen, no. I like you. I like you a lot. It's just that we're going around in circles, and I have been going around in circles over the past 3 days.
We're not going around in circles. You're going around in circles. I'm trying to make points. You're just criticizing me, saying I'm not saying anything. Well, you're saying nothing. Do you see the problem here?
I am going to mute up, and I'll let you guys talk about nothing. Go ahead. Please.
Okay, that's fine. Let's talk about nothing. Let's look at the word no thing. No thing. No thing. No, the thing. What is the thing? It's the nothingness. It's the vacuum, the black, the darkness. And that's what a black goddess is. She's the nothing. It's a nothing burger game. And you just ate my Trump nothing burger. I hypnotized you all for an hour and 48 minutes. I want to thank you very little for eating my Donald Trump nothing burger. We will call you. Don't call us. Vote Trump and go to the gym, fatties. Especially the scientists. No thing. No thing. From nothing comes something. From nothing comes everything.
I'm getting bored. We move on.
Yeah, me too. I think I'm gonna go say hello to. There's another room with Jeff. Let me see where the hell is it. I lost it. Where is it? I lost it.
Oh. They're imploding. Okay, this is Chicago DNC protest events. This is your president. Let's see who we can bring into the protest. Protest now, that's what I say. Yeah. Okay, so I guess that's my whole thing. I'm so glad this actually worked. God bless. Vote John 312-498-0517.
Actually, give me all your money and a fee because you didn't pay enough in tax.
What up, Beach?